Hi, welcome back to The Art of Frosting. I'm Liz Larson, and it's fall time. It's time to do some of those yummy fall cakes and desserts. Today I'm going to show you guys how to turn a yellow cake into a delicious pumpkin cake with pumpkin pie spices in it. This is quick, easy, and really yummy. So excited to show you this one. Let's get started. For today's project, I'm going to be using some yellow cake mix, 3 eggs, some milk, a little bit of Pam spray for the pans, some pumpkin puree, a stick of butter melted, and we're going to be using cinnamon, some cloves, and some mace. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm wiping out my pans. Now my pans are washed, but I want to make sure that they're very dry so that my spray can stick to the bottoms. So I just got a little bit of cooking spray here. This one happens to be Pam with some flour in it, but you can just use regular Pam if you want to, a regular cooking spray. And I want to take my pans and spray the corners first. The corners are that spot that always sticks and makes you swear when they stick. Nobody wants to swear when they're baking. We're ready to start putting our ingredients in our mixing bowl. This is really quick and easy. I've got my 3 eggs. I'm going to dump them in first. I like to put my liquids in first. That way my cake doesn't stick to the bottom of my pan. Next, I'm going to use this whole can of pumpkin. This one happens to be 15 ounces. So we want to try to get that dumped in there without making too much of a mess. Never seemed to be possible in my kitchen, tell you. Okay, so once your eggs and your pumpkin are in there, I'm going to go ahead and dump my cake mix. Now, if you're doing this with a scratch mix, go ahead and use all your dry ingredients here at this point. Get that in there and get your mixer turned on. Now, we just want to incorporate the dry and the wet ingredients at this point. When they're mixed, and I'll show you about to what point, you can see here, it's just a stiff, thick mixture. At that point, we want to add in our spices. A teaspoon of cinnamon, I've got a ½ teaspoon of cloves, and I've got my 1/8 teaspoon, 1/8 to 1/4, depending on how spicy you like, of mace. This is the trick to a really yummy pumpkin pie and pumpkin pie cake. So get that in there, stir those around just a little bit more. Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. It smells just like pumpkin pie. Okay, now I want to add my melted butter. There's a reason that I put my melted butter in last. It's to make sure that all my ingredients are incorporated with the butter. So I'm going to turn on and pour my butter. Now I'm going to let this mix on low just until it's fully incorporated. Then I want to turn it up for about 3 minutes to medium speed. So I want to come in nice and tight so you guys can get an idea of how thick this cake mix is. Can you see that? There's no runny or watery here at all. And that's the consistency you need. If you don't have quite this consistency and it's just a little too thick, you add just a tablespoon of milk at a time until you get the right consistency. Now, you can add almost any fruit that you want. Coconut milk, anything, any kind of liquid that you want, as long as you're really careful about getting this nice, thick consistency. If your cake mix is too wet, your cake's gonna fall, and nobody wants that. So, now we're going to fill our pans. I am gonna fill a couple of 6s, a 3, and a 4. But this mix will make 2 8-inch rounds, 1 1/4 sheet, 1 10-inch round, the way I make it, about 16 to 20 cupcakes, depending. So as we mix, you want to fill your pans about halfway. Now you see how nice and thick that is. Take your spatula and pull it up onto the sides. And that'll keep my cake from getting a big lump on it and bake nice and flat. Now I'm going to stick these in the oven. I usually bake at 350 or less. My oven right now happens to be a little bit on the cool side, so 350 works. If you have a hot oven, turn it down to 325. Baking a little lower and a little slower, you end up with a moister cake and a cake that doesn't have a big hump in the middle. So get these in the oven, check them at about 30 minutes. Now, the way to check to make sure your cake is in the middle is take a toothpick or even a slim knife, stick it down between the edge of your cake and here and pull it out. If any cake comes out with it, it's not quite done. When it comes out nice and dry, it's done. Another way to check is to just barely touch the middle. If it leaves an imprint, it's not quite done. Now that these are out of the oven, you see how beautifully they baked? No big mounds in the middle. You want to just gently release the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and just dump these out right on my parchment to cool. Now you can let them sit anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to about a half an hour, but not much longer than that. You don't want them to cool completely in the pan. These turned out absolutely beautiful, and my house smells just like fall with this yummy pumpkin spice. Now I'm going to pair this with a cream cheese filling, which is delicious with pumpkin pie. But it would also be great with your whipped toppings or your regular icing. It would taste like pie and whipped cream. I'm using these for a beautiful rose and pumpkin cake for fall that you guys can see that video next to. You can always find me at The Art of Frosting on Facebook and at www.theartoffrosting.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys all again really soon.